now we're going to go, and if you have any trouble with that, just let me know. All right, so we're going to start with inserting boxes, but I want to show you what I did in this handout. So I'm going to go to page 1. And I just have some things. We're going to go through these several times. So you don't need to take notes this time, and maybe not the second time, but by the time I do it a third time and you're still not remembering or it doesn't make sense, you need to ask me some questions, or you need to or take notes. All right, so as I said a few minutes ago, the person who posted this question wanted to know about inserting text boxes, which is what my guess was when she asked about that. But I wanted you to see that if you do any graphic, and that means, is it a graphic that you make? I made this heart in Word. Or is it a graphic that you paste in from somewhere? You went to the web and you found a graphic that's legal for you to take under common license and you paste it in. How do you get that to go where you want it to go? And I'll be honest, I've talked about this in every Word session that I've ever done, all the way back to when I was teaching school 14 years ago. So it's just a thing that Word has never changed. So what I want you to see is, I'm going to go through this using Word in just a minute, but I just want you to know how this reads. We're going to make a text box. We'll do that. And then you click this little icon that shows up at the right side. And when you click that, you get this box. Now you will notice when I have a heart and I click it, I get the same box. So that's why these are all done the same. The problem is when it comes in, it says in line with text, meaning wherever your text is next to this box, it will follow, the text will follow the box, which is why you can't put it where you want it. And we're all teachers, so we like to do things our own way. And so the way you do that is you click this little space here in one of these 6 icons. Now, you're going to watch this in a few minutes. When I put my cursor over one of these in the real thing, this is just a picture, it'll tell me what each of these do. This one here in the bottom row, when you click that, your picture will go behind text. If you click this one, your picture will go in front of text and float over it. The ones in the top row are all about putting the text around the box. Now, we're not talking the top text that's in the box. We're talking the text that's around the box. And I'll demonstrate that going forward. The other combination, there's 2 things. You must choose one of these 6, depending on whether you want the text to be surrounded. I'm sorry, the box to be surrounded by other text, or if you want it to float behind or in front. And then the second thing you have to do is that by default, the first thing is checked, and that is to stay with text. We want to do it differently, and it says fix position on page. Now, what people don't understand is that that's not saying it's going to be in a fixed position. What that says is that you get to fix the position on the page. So you will click one of these 6 and you will click the circle by the bottom choice, fix position on page. You're basically saying, I want to fix the position. So you will notice that we do the same thing with the heart. We make the heart, we get this little box, we choose which one of these we want, and then we choose fix position. This will allow you to put your graphics where you want them. Now, every once in a while, when you have multiple graphics on the page, before you can get to this step, it'll throw it somewhere. And you may have to go find it because you haven't gotten to this step. It takes a few seconds to click this little box and get to this step. But that's what we're going to look at now. Okay, so I'm going to minimize my handout and I'm going to open Word. And I could open something that's already made, but we'll just open this. And I'm just going to type some text. Whoops. I'm not a typing teacher. Don't look at my typing. This is the space for boxes and graphics. Okay, so I know that's not spelled right here. It bothers me that it's not. So I'll right click and it'll tell me how to spell it. Okay, so now we want to put in a text box. And the way you put in a text box is you go up to the Insert tab. Are you still seeing my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. You go up to the Insert tab. And when you click the Insert tab, you get the option to insert a table, insert pictures, insert shapes, insert icons, 3D models, smart art, all sorts of things. And all the way over to the right side, almost to the right side, insert a text box. So I'm going to insert a text box. Right now, my cursor is at the end of my sentence. So when I insert a text box and click on the choice I want, I'm just going to take a plain one. And it wants me to type something in there. So we'll just type this is, whoops, nothing creative on my part, my text. So we would like this text box to be somewhere other than where it is. Now you'll notice that if I move my cursor off of it, I get my arrow, but if I move my cursor to the line around it, I get crosshair. And that's how I can grab this and move it around. Notice it's going like this. But the problem is, watch what happens if I go over here and move my text down the page. The text box moves with the text because remember, that's the default. It automatically is set to move with the text. And there are times when you put something next to a line of text, and I'll tell you when I use this. I used to do the book for the membership book for my chapter, Alpha Row. And we had the bright idea to take pictures of everybody and put them in that book so that people that, you know, were new to the group or that hadn't been for a while, wanted to see who was new, they could go look. Well, I want each person's picture to stay beside their name. So in that case, I don't change this. When I put the picture there next to their name, if I have to move somebody down in the page to put somebody else above them because we have a new member, I want that picture to stay with them. So I hit this and it moves down, and now I can go up here and I can put in the next person. We're not doing that, obviously, because this is a text box. Yes.
So Jeannie, if you were to insert a picture, you're inserting a text box first before you bring in the picture?
The text box acts the same way as a picture. If I go insert picture, these all work the same, even though they're different objects. They're all still objects. So if I say I want to find a picture on this computer, we'll do something fun like I have a picture of a banana. Oh, let's do the balloons. So I insert the balloons. You'll notice that my text moved down because, and if I were to have some text up here by the balloons, I'm going to move it down just a little. It won't let me. You'll notice I grab it. It won't let me move it. That's because we have to change that setting, because right now it's only going to move when I put some text and move the text. So I'm going to click here. I'm going to do the same thing that you saw me do on the handout. I'm going to click here. I'm going to go down to this row and I need to pick one. Now notice, see how I hold my cursor over that and the little word square pops up. That's saying that it will keep this box and any text around it would be around the square or around the rectangle in this case. If I go to the next one, it's tight, meaning it will be closer to the image. However, if these balloons have this box around it, it will never cross the outside line here. Or it'll never go inside that space. It is possible to use some software where you would snip out these balloons so that's just this much of the balloon. And then the text would come all the way over next to that red balloon if you wanted it to. So I almost always use tight when I'm doing this. So I'm going to click tight. Now you'll notice what happened. The minute I click tight, that stuff that was down at the bottom underneath the balloons moved up because it knows that it's supposed to be around these balloons. But I still can't move this balloon. And that's because notice at the bottom, it is saying move with text. I don't want to. I want to fix this on the page at the position I want it to be. So I'm going to click fix. So I've done two things. I've chosen that I want any text around this to be around it, up next to the border, and I want to move it myself. I want to fix the position on the page. So now watch what happens. If I grab this, well, first of all, I'll get rid of that box. If I grab these balloons, look what I can do. I can move them where I want them to go. Can I move this text box where I want it to go? No, remember? I chose this. Have I changed it to fixed position on page? No. So you have to do both of those. You have to decide to put the text around it, wrapping it, and you have to choose fixed position. So now I can grab this text box and move it where I want. Now, I don't like this border. You don't have this problem with the balloons. That border around the balloons goes away as soon as you click off of the balloons. But the text box comes with a line around it. And you can remove that line by right-clicking on that box, go all the way to the bottom, format shape, and this little box pulls up. And I'm going to go to line, and I'm going to say no line. So now my text looks like it's there. I can get it back by simply clicking it, but the minute I click off, the line around it is gone. All right, let's review one more time. So we brought the balloons in, we clicked this box, and we changed it to put the text around it tightly, and I want to fix the position on the page. When I made the text box, I did the same thing, only this time I chose square, which is very similar to tight, like this is.
Right.
And then I changed it to fixed position on page. So now, and then the second thing I did is I don't like the box. So I right click, I go down to format shape at the very bottom, and this menu pops up, and I chose line, no line. I could have filled the text box. If you'd like to make it pretty, you can choose a color. And I could say, make this yellow. So you have some options in that format. And another thing I want you to see is that when I click here, I'm right clicking, by the way, you can't see me, but I'm holding my mouse over that and I'm right clicking with my mouse. And I want to go to something that's not there. Hold on, I have to find it. I want to bring it to the front. So I right click and I click bring to front. Now, the reason I'm going to do that is because I want you to see what happens. I can now move this over my balloons. If I were to highlight my text and make it white, and I'm going to go change my solid fill. Where is that color? I got to get here, right here. And format shape. I want my color to be no color. That's not going to work. You can't make white on white.
No fill. Look at no fill under the top
Where
one.
is it? Huh?
Right above
Oh,
solid
I
fill.
see it. Thank you very much. When you're doing this, you forget about those things. So notice, because my text is white, I can, move the balloons, or I can move the text, and I would probably make it a little smaller, but you see you have those options. Once you've done this, fixed this and this, now you have options. And that's what I like about Word. Now, I had an argument with a teacher, not an argument, just a discussion. She said she never uses Word because Google's so much better. And I said, well, Google's fine if you're not doing graphics. Google, you can put in a graphic in Google, but it won't let you do extra things with those graphics. And since a lot of my work has been done making handouts and making books and booklets and things like that, I like to be able to have control of all my graphics. So that's it. Now, so we've brought in a picture, and that could have been a picture of people too. It doesn't matter. It's all pictures. So I brought in a picture that was on my hard drive somewhere, and I made a text box. What if I go up here and I insert, oh, I know. Here's what I want you to see. I'm going to bring this text down the page. Notice what happened. Why did that text shift all the way over there? Well, it's because that text box is there. And you remember, we said we wanted any text on the page to go around, to wrap around the others. And so now it's wrapping around the balloons. When it was back up here, it was wrapping around the text box. And so here, I'm just going to copy this just for the sake of my slow typing. So there's a way around this. I'm holding down a shift key and using the arrow key to say, I only want to go, whoops, I only want to go to there. Copy. Now I'm going to go up here and just paste it. So we've got some more text on our page. There we go. So that you can see, if this was all text, every time I move this, look how the text moves around it. It surrounds it. Mm-hmm. And I lost my little text box here because I moved it. Who knows? What could I do to this white text and the balloons to keep them together?
Fix them both on the page.
They are fixed on the page. But if I want them to move, like right now, the balloons are separate from the text. Here's what I could do. I could click the text. All right. So it's active. Now, here's something we're going to look at later, but we might as well learn it now. If I hold down the shift key on my keyboard, while I'm holding my shift key with my left hand finger, and I'm using my mouse with my right hand, if I click on the balloons, now they're both selected. I held my shift key down while I did that. I can let the shift key go now. They're both selected. So now I'm going to right click. Oops, sorry, that's not what that's supposed to do. And I want to group these. I'll be honest, I would do this. I would Control G. Oop, nope. Oh, I know there's a way. Hold on. I want to group these. Group. You see it right there? Okay. Yeah. And I will group these. Now, these are, well, I thought I had them grouped. Well, that's, I'm not sure why it's not working. I think I grouped the wrong things. So we're going to ungroup.
They're moving at the same time, though.
Are they? But the white was, the text wasn't going with the balloon, was it?
No.
I want the
I thought it was for a minute.
Maybe.
It was the first time you did it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
No.
There it is.
That's what I saw. Yep.
Now, here's the next thing. Now that this is a new group, guess what? What do you notice up here? What happened to move with text? I need to make it, this one's okay. But this one needs to be fixed position on page. So whenever that happens, that's what you have to think about, is that something. I don't know why it's not. Let's try this. Oh, I know why. Look what's selected. Put this in front of text. So what is my balloons doing?
You need type.
It's saying in front of text. Very good. I need tight. Now, and fixed position. Now it will move around. So it's, whoops, I didn't mean to move that. All this, and I think what happened is I just undid the grouping. I'm not going to take any more time with that, but you see the idea. My goal is for you to understand that when you set that with the correct settings in that little drop down, that your text will now flow. Now, here's what I was mentioning earlier. Notice how it's changing. Every time I move those balloons, it's changing because it's designed to go around it. But I can put the balloons wherever I want. I've lost my white text, but that's okay. All right, so I want you to see one more thing. If I add something else, we'll add a heart like I did earlier. So I'm going to click the heart and I'm going to draw a heart. And I'm going to go up here and I'm going to shape the fill with red. Notice the heart is over this and it's not attached to anything, but I've still got to do this. I've got to go make this tight if that's what I want and fix position. And now it also will allow those to go. And what I was hoping would happen is that the heart would hide, but we don't have enough stuff on this page. It really happens when you've got a full page and you start to add something else, and then the heart, you can't find it. And you sometimes have to go look for it. One of the secrets to remember is that if you bring something onto a page, these little anchors on the corners will show even if it's underneath something, and you can kind of tell where your object is. That you'll have to think about that in experience and give me a text or a holler if you get stuck on something like that. But this is the basics of how do you get your photos or your graphics or your text boxes to go where you want. You must make those changes. How do you feel about this? You want to see some more or we move on? I should ask you to do a vote.
Why don't we ask for suggestions and we'll build it from what they tell us to do?
That sounds good, Lois. I think that's Lois's voice, yes?
Yes, that's
Mhm.
Lois's voice.
All
My
right, so
question is, what version of Word do you have? Because I have different words at the top for the layout of a picture. And I've never done the pull down menus like you've been doing. I've been always working from up above.
you mean because I have this board, this wide border here?
Yeah,
Is that what you mean? You've always gone here?
No, even one more up. I use the menus myself.
All the
yes, up at
menus?
the very, very top.
Yes,
These-
where it says
I'll click on a picture, for instance, and then there'll be some words at the top, and one of them is something like picture format.
yes.
And that way I can go to tight or in front
Oh,
of
I
or
know what you
whatever.
mean.
I've never
Got it.
seen.
Here's what she's talking about. Okay, so this heart came from shapes, remember? This,
Mhm.
the balloons are pictures. So you will notice that when I click on heart, we have the word shape format here. And you get the same choices here under position, text wrapping. Actually, you get a few more. Notice it moves it around based on what I'm doing. Do I want it right justify, centered, left justify? These are some of the wraps. More layout options here. I mean, you can have as many as you want. Here's text wrapping. There's the ones that I was using.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I use.
And position.
I never seen it with the right clicking before.
Yes, well, it's not a right click. If I click on this heart, that little box shows up automatically. And it's just a faster way. I agree with you. I've been known to use this. Watch what happens when I click on the balloons. Now we get the picture format. And I'll tell you what I use in picture format a lot. I used it to make the handout. The crop button is over here. And if I want to crop a picture, that's how I do it. I click on the picture, I go over here to crop, because that's not in my menu. And then I can bring this down and I can bring this up. And then once you've done that, you go back over here and you click crop, and now your picture is smaller. And you'll notice that it still has the same properties though of the tight. But yeah, I agree. Yeah, but you can
If
do
you
that.
ungroup that, you're able to remove the white
Yeah.
background.
Yes.
So that it,
Well, no, I think it's because I took that picture and the picture of the balloons was on a white background, I would have to go into my graphics program and make the background transparent.
Oh, because there is a remove background that lets you just sort of delete
And where
things.
is that? See, I learned things at this too.
Okay, ungroup that because right now it's letters and text.
Ungroup. All right. There's my text, by the way. Here, let's move
Just-
that up here. Oh, but I got to bring it forward.
Right.
Where did that go? It's
Or send the
behind.
heart backward.
There it is. Okay. And I need to right click. Oh, no, wrong one. Anyway, we don't need to spend any more time with that. But yeah, if I click on this and right click and bring it, where's my order? You have to click it a couple times sometimes to get order. Anyway, well, you know what
click
I'm trying to do.
Balloons.
Wait, let's send this one we'll just send this one to the back. Now I can bring this over here. There we go. Okay, now go ahead. Was that Lois? Who was that was talking?
It was Lois. Click on the balloons. Now in the click. You should have a remove background in the upper right hand, in the upper left-hand corner. I saw it earlier.
On the menu or up at the top under picture format?
Right now, where on the menu you're at, in the upper left-hand corner.
Oh, upper
Yes,
left.
in the far left.
Duh. Upper
Remove-
left.
Remove background.
Oh.
Now, you have choices to keep things or remove things.
Yeah. So if I want to
you
keep those
manipulate
white,
So the white part you want to keep. So click on mark areas to keep, upper left, left. Mark one more, keep. Now click on those little purple spaces that are on top of your white stripes.
but do I have to do that the
Just
whole
click-
thing? Oh, it just, okay.
It'll find it, it'll
It'll
look,
find it. Okay.
yes.
I'll
And
be
then-
honest, the software that I teach people to use has this in it and I use it there. And my
Okay.
Cricut software has this in it too, and I use it there. But I
But
never wanted to do it here because I use a white background all the time.
we'll keep changes.
Keep
Right.
changes. All
Now
right,
those
so
will move, but they can be seen not through,
with
but
just
they
the balloons.
around. Put them on top of your heart. So now you don't have that white box.
Got it. And just real quickly for what we just did with Lois's help is we had those balloons up there and we clicked on picture format at the top menu, which gives us lots more choices. And on the left side, we clicked remove background, and then it gave us some choices of mark the areas we want to keep. And so we marked these white spaces to keep the illusion of the balloons, and we kept the background in purple as nothing. Wherever the purple is where you get no, it would remove any. If I clicked here, like if I clicked mark areas to remove and I clicked this red balloon, then oh, you must have to do a lot more than just.
Would it get rid of the purple background?
I could, but I just wanted to see if it would remove the red of the balloon. And I guess it would eventually if I drew enough.
We'll keep
But,
the change. You can see.
I'm going to discard it.
Okay.
So I think I got the white back. Yeah, because I said discard all changes. So
Right.
remove the
You know,
background.
Sharon asked about what version you're using, and I've never seen that blue picture format up at the top of, my choices. What version are you using?
I never know because my office, I think we're using 13 because my office people, something about our server won't handle anything else. I don't know. And
Okay.
I pay for a subscription, but I get it through my office. And if I want to use Outlook through my office, I have to use their version. So I think it's the older one. I don't think it's the current one.
Well, at least that tells me where to look. It'll be somewhere.
Well, I
But,
can do,
yeah,
Mary
I'll
Jane,
have to look for that.
Mary Jane, that will never show up unless you have an actual picture on the page. It's
Okay.
not there automatically.
Okay.
Like if when I click on this heart, that's when shape shows up. Notice picture's not there. I have to click
Okay.
on the picture and then it shows up.
I don't remember ever seeing either of those, so I'll investigate this. This is just good to know. You're using 13 and
I think
um,
I'm using 13.
it,
but-
it's gotta be somewhere. It's just
That's
not
been
in the
around
same
for a
place you're
long
showing.
time.
I
Yeah,
just
I
did it,
mean-
Mary Jane, and it absolutely works perfectly, Jean, just as you said. Thank you so much.
So
Great, thank you.
fun. I mean, it's just a fun way to deal with graphics. I'll be honest, I use Fireworks. I don't use Adobe Photoshop. I have a Fireworks icon somewhere, and I use Fireworks because it's pretty basic, but I don't do as much as I used to in this because I have Cricut and I also have an embroidery machine and it does designs too. So, all right. So anybody have more questions about this? You got this down? Click that little thing. Now, as these people
Where
pointed
can you
out,
get,
go ahead.
where can you get pictures legally?
If you go to Google here, if you go to Google and images and you search for frog, up here at the top under tools, I
Mhm.
think you can go under tools and usage rights,
Ah, good idea.
and Creative Commons is for education. Now, you can't make money off of it. It's for, I mean, it pretty much is education. Creative Commons means they've thrown these things into the Creative Common area and you don't have to ask permission to use it. So if I click that, you will notice that a few of the images that were there before I click that are gone. Okay. But these,
I
when
don't
you,
have that version.
well, it's in Google. This is online. So I went to Google, whatever the current version of Google Chrome is, and then you type in what you're looking for. And here, let me do it again. So I went to Google and we'll type in something. What should we type in? The sun.
Easter egg.
Okay, Easter egg. Easter, whoops. Somehow my caps, Easter egg. Okay, so I'm going to search for Easter eggs. But right now, I'm just searching for Easter eggs. Now,
Yeah.
somewhere, I have to find my graphics. Oh, here, images.
And
I
then you
don't
go to
want
images.
everything. I just want images. Sometimes it's on the right side, but here it is.
Okay, I
But
got you.
now I go to tools.
Then you go to tools.
You go to tools, which is over underneath the, or else towards the right side. And then when you click tools, you can choose size, you can choose color,
Okay,
you can choose
that's what I
type,
need to know.
and under, I didn't do any of those. I did usage rights. And
That's
that's where Creative
usage.
Commons is.
So Jean, when you're using Word and it says stock images, are those able to be used?
I don't know. I'm very leery
do
about
that
any
right
of
now.
that.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, the company Smart that I do for Smartboard, they show all when you do a search in their software, within their software, they only bring up Creative Commons licensed images for teachers to use.
Okay.
They don't bring up anything else. And that's how come I know about it. But I didn't learn it from them. I learned this from somebody. I was on some training and something I saw and they did this. But I don't even remember what it was for. It might have been Delta Kappa Gamma. I don't know.
So in a
But
newsletter, I could use any one of these under the Creative Commons ones, like for
I
retired
thought
teachers.
Nancy said that even that Delta Kappa Gamma is not accepting. I don't know what Delta Kappa Gamma is accepting at this time.
Oh,
kind of been out of it for a while in that respect. I don't do the newsletter anymore. So I don't know if Creative Commons is acceptable, but it's certainly a question that should be asked.
Because we don't make any money on a newsletter.
Right. Right. And do you post it on a website? Mary Jane, do you know?
Yes, we do.
See, that would be the question. It's that website that gets us in trouble. But I don't even know if Creative Commons existed when I was doing the website. That was a long time ago now. It seems like it was yesterday, but it wasn't. So it's something we have to ask before
Well,
you start.
you hate to take a job and you can't do anything because you can't get the graphics that would
Yeah.
be acceptable to
Well, we
not
know
get
that
your
you could.
group in trouble.
I know. Anybody on this call was on the Canva webinar?
Yes, I use Canva, but
Canva lets you do an AI image. So you could
Yeah.
say, I want an Easter egg under
Yes.
AI, and they will throw a bunch of things together computer wise, and it would be something you could use because doesn't belong to anybody.
Mm.
So, and I would assume that the rest of these are going to come out with something because of that. I don't know. That's, I guess, a good thing about AI. All
What
right,
is-
we're gonna move on if nobody has any more questions
Okay,
about this, because
let me
I want
tell
to
you
make sure we cover these last two. Whoops.
Okay, one thing, I just went on Google Easter egg images tools, and I don't have usage flights on mine.
Really?
No,
Because I'm
I
not
do not.
using, when you click tools, you don't get those little choices
I
underneath.
get across, when I did it on mine, I got Google Easter eggs, images, tools. And after I got tools, I did not get anything else. I didn't get the rest of that.
Is
As
it highlight when you clicked on tools? Does it turn blue?
let me get back out and see. It did not exit. It turned blue. I turned blue.
But you
And
don't
after
see
I
size,
got
color.
images. I got images, shopping, videos, news, more, and save search.
Okay, so click on images and then click on tools. Is
And I did
images,
that. I got size, color, Creative Commons licenses.
there you go.
And I did Creative Commons licenses.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
And it won't go anyplace.
You don't get
I
any
can't even,
pictures?
I
Nope.
can't even get anything to come up on tools. Well, there are
I
usage
can't get
rights.
anything to come up on
You have to
tools
go- you
either.
have to go down to the words usage rights. Don't just click tools,
Okay.
go down to usage rights, and then it'll pop up.
There it is.
You have to put a check
Yeah.
mark in front of Creative Commons. Right now, my
Yep.
check mark, if you look at my screen, is in all, but if you click on Creative Commons, now the check mark is under Creative Commons.
Okay, I did all.
No,
I
get it
did
off of all.
all. I collected tools.
Then go
Stop.
over to usage rights.
Click usage rights and click Creative Commons instead of all. And then the check
Let me-
mark should be there.
Nothing comes up. Tools. Images. Now Creative usage rights is not even coming up.
Do you have size, color, type?
Images.
Tools.
And usage,
Size, color, usage rights.
yes,
Now
usage
click
rights.
the little arrow to the right of the word rights. It's a little black triangle. Click that and you should see the 3 choices, and all should have a check mark in front of it. And what you want to do is click Creative Commons and the check mark will move there.
Okay, let's see. Say that again now.
Okay, so click, there's a
After
little,
Creative Commons licenses, do what?
well, when you see usage rights, you click that little triangle that's next to the word usage rights, and that will show you three choices, all Creative Commons licenses and commercial and other licenses. And you click on Creative Commons, and then it should say Creative Commons in blue.
All images, shopping, videos, news, more,
When we're
tools.
done, is this
Okay,
Pam? When we're
okay.
done, Pam, did it do it, or do you want me to stay
No,
on
it did not
afterward?
do it. I would like to see it do it. It didn't do it, but we'll do
Okay,
that later.
we'll do it afterward. We'll stay on and I'll let you take over the screen. Okay,
Okay.
we're gonna go on. If everybody's happy with being able to move your images around, this is my handout, and that's what the handout says. It says you choose one of these 6. If you want to go to that menu above that the other people were mentioning up here, when you click on this and you go to shape format, then you get under position, you get all sorts of choices. I'm happy with the 6 that it gives me in this menu, so I just don't take the time to go up there and click that. So that's that. So if you're happy with that, or you have any questions, put them in the chat and we'll come back. Okay. Next, we're going to do the one about PDF. Whoops, that's not the one I want. Sorry. It came up on that menu. I gotta find my handout. There it is. Okay. We're going to go to the one about PDF. I will tell you that there is no perfect way to change a PDF to a Word document. And the reason is that's PDF stands for portable document file. And what that means is if you have a Mac, an Apple computer that you work in Pages, that's the word processor on Macs. If you have a Word, in the old days, we used to have something called, what was it? I lost it.
DOC.
What that's the, oh, Doc, yeah. But there were other programs. Microsoft had one. Microsoft had a free version. Word cost money, but they had a free version. I forget, maybe Works, I think. Anyway,
Microsoft Works was free.
yes, thank you, Sharon. The problem is that if you made a Word document on an Apple product and you made a Word document on a Windows product in one of the many word processors that were out there, and you shared it with somebody else and they had a different computer, you couldn't share between you unless you saved it as a TXT file known as text, and then you lost your formatting. This was way back, people. We're talking probably 20 years ago. All right, so they came up with PDF. PDF is literally a way that you can have a document that you can share with others. It's portable. So that's what the P stands for, portable document file. And so technically it's never supposed to be an editable document, but there are some tricks. If you go to Google and you type in, how do I change my PDF to a Word doc and keep formatting? Notice I put it right in here. Search, convert PDF to Word and keep formatting. You will get all sorts of applications that are written that say they will convert. And they'll do a pretty decent job. Some of them cost, some of them don't. One of my little college girls that I work with told me that on an Apple product right now, you can change PDF to Word. I don't believe her because they're having trouble taking PDFs. She's like, oh, they can just fill those out. I'm like, no, they can't. You got to turn it into a form. Oh, no, she said, they can just fill them out. Well, I can tell you, I saw the finished product and they hand wrote most of them. So I have never used any of those because I use the next 3 things to get around it, just because it goes pretty fast. Some PDFs you can open, you can highlight the text, and then copy it and paste it into a Word document. But you more than likely will have to redo the format. So I have a
Mhm.
Word document right here. Whoops. So I have this Word document right here. I was looking for one that a teacher might have. So I'm not sure that I can even do this here, but we're going to try. So yeah, it depends on what the big problem is. It depends on what it was made in. And as you can see, I'm trying to highlight the text down here, but I know that I made this, and I'll guarantee you that I use step number 4 that's in the list of choices, and that's why I can't edit this. But I'm gonna want you to see that when you do have something you can highlight, you can go up here and copy it. And now I can go back to Word, and we'll just go here and go down here because we have this open, and I'm gonna right click and paste. And it did paste those in there. Are they the same format? No. If I want this here, I would have to do this to make it look like that. And you'll notice that the font isn't the same either.
It's
So
still easier than typing the whole thing again.
it is much. And I like it a lot. The one problem you have is if the Word document has pictures in it, it's a little harder. And that's what this is. This is a picture. Now I'm going to explain in a minute how I did this, but that's option. My first choice is if I've got a large document. I don't know if you know keystrokes, but the best way to do a large document is Control A. Hold down your Shift key and click A. Now, you will notice that when I did that, it highlighted the text as it saw it on this page. Oh, this one too. I know why that one's that way. I'll explain that in a minute. So it will highlight text. And if you've got a whole document of PDF that's not any pictures, and you do Control A, or you put your cursor here and you drag your cursor, it will highlight it in blue. Right click, copy, or do Control C. Some of us use Control C to copy, or right click and copy. Go to your Word document, paste, and then you'll have to format. So that's an option. And for some of us, that works just fine. The next one is what I did to make that worksheet. I had that text. These math problems were already on a worksheet. And so I went to that worksheet. I think it probably came with my textbook. I went to that worksheet and I used the snipping tool. Now look at the bottom of my screen. Can you see where I'm holding my cursor over that thing that has a scissor and it says snipping tool? That comes with your Windows computer. There is one on a Mac, if anybody's using a Mac. I can't remember what it's called, but you might just type in snipping tool and see what you get. And this is how you find it. Use this search box. It normally isn't down here at the bottom, but I put it there. And here's how I did that. SNIPPIN. There's my snipping tool. It finds it for you. I right clicked on it and I said, well, right now it says unpin from taskbar. That used to say pin to taskbar. And I click that. I'll just unpin it for a minute and now we'll pin it again. Notice it says pin to taskbar. Taskbar is at the bottom. I use this almost every time I'm on a computer. So I pinned it to my taskbar. There it is. You can drag them around in order that you want. So now I have a snipping tool. So what that allows me to do is, let's say that I want to change this into a Word document. And I don't want to have to retype all those. It's a picture that I took somewhere else and I just want to get it somewhere else. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to click the snipping tool. I get this little box. Notice it says you can also use the Windows key, Shift and S. Windows, Shift, S. I almost don't have enough fingers to do that, but you could do that instead of clicking this little box down here. I just click this little box. I click New, Notice how it darkened my screen and I have a little crosshair, and I'm just going to draw a picture around this. And if I open that back up, there's my picture that I just took. I have mine in the settings set up that whatever I put here gets copied to my clipboard, but you can also go up here to this little icon and copy this picture, or you can use Control-C and it will copy this picture. So now if I go to Word and I'm going to get a new page, so I'm going to go to Insert, Blank Page. So I'm down here on a new page and I'm going to right click and paste. And there it is. So I managed to get my text. Notice the formatting hasn't changed. No one knows that I didn't type that. And if I only wanted those 3 problems and I didn't want any others, I could just do that. So,
You know, I've got that snipping tool, and all I do is I hit print screen and it allows me just to outline what I want.
oh, well, my print screen doesn't work that way. If I hit print screen on my keyboard, you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
When I hit print screen, I have to hold, oh, maybe
Oh.
it does. Oh, it does. Oh, see, Mary Jane, I learned something. I always wondered what that thing was. It shows up every once in a while at the top of my page. And what it's saying is, do you want to take a rectangle? Do you want to do a circle? Let's click this one. Watch what I can do. Free form. If I click that, I can do this.
Oh,
Now I can
I
go.
didn't know that. I just
Oh.
knew the rectangle. So we both learned something.
So now I
Well-
can go down here. Okay, so, oh, wait a minute. Somehow, oh, I'm in the wrong one. I want to be in my Word document. Where's my Word document? Oh, I lost it. Right here.
Uh-oh.
There we
Yeah.
go. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. Oh, no, I don't want to be there. Oh, guess what? It's asking me, this is the first picture I put in. I need to do something. I need to put it where I want it. Okay, now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to right click and paste. And there it is. And oh, see, it didn't take the picture that I took.
No, you had only the one item and it's got all of them.
Yeah, but I think I didn't get a picture. Okay, let's see. Mary Jane, what did you say to do? All right, I got to get there. Wait a minute. I got to be here.
All I do is hit print screen and then I outline what I want.
All
I
right,
don't
here's
need a rectangle. I didn't know
print
about the
screen.
circles.
Here's
Okay,
oh,
outline what
there's
you want.
print screen.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that. Just go down and outline it.
well, I know how that'll work, but I want to try this. Okay,
Okay.
now I'm going to do one thing. I'm going to go here. Nope, see, it didn't put it in there.
Well, you have to print screen and then Control V.
Well, I got to go over to my Word document, but see, I don't think it's going to do it. Here, we'll try it again.
Control V.
I'm going to delete that one and Control V. There it is.
Yep.
Yay. And I can't move it because why, girls?
Move it to the front.
You
It's in
gotta
mine.
either move
Oh.
it to the front or something. Got to choose something
Oh.
and fix position. Now I can move it where I
Yeah.
want.
And
And
see, I never knew about that moving it. This is perfect. Perfect.
And
Okay.
crop it, you can get rid of that white space.
Yes.
Crop.
We could do this. We could go to picture format, remove background.
Well, that's tricky with text. I was just gonna say crop it so it's a smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. The reason it's so big is because of the big circle that I drew around it, but you'll know it's a perfect match to what I drew.
Absolutely.
So we'll discard, oh, close, we'll just close, discard. There we go. I mean, it's back to the original, so it's big, but you're right. We could go over here to crop it and move those in and whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. You got to grab that little black thing. There we go. There we go. Bring that down. And now I can crop it and crop it. Okay, so now, Mary Jane, I would be remiss if I don't tell you what the others are for.
Thank you. Thank you. Please.
The other buttons, when you push print screen on your keyboard, this one takes a rectangle or square, depending on what you draw. This one takes a free form. This one takes the entire window, top to bottom. That means if I do this, I will get a picture of the entire thing, top to bottom, including the menus at the top and bottom. And this one is, wait a minute, let me rephrase that. That will be window only. So that'll be this, it'll take this whole window without me having to do anything. And it's old. So that's not working. It didn't do anything because I hit the wrong spot. But if I hit the other one, print screen, this one is window top to bottom, full screen, all the way from the top border, side borders, bottom border, and up. So you get all the menus. So if you're teaching a computer class and you want to show these menus, that's how you get them.
Well,
Okay,
where are
Mary Jane?
you getting the print screen for those icons to show up?
It's on my keyboard up across from the F1 keys across the top.
Mm-hmm.
Print screen is just to the right of F12 on my keyboard.
Yeah, it's right on the top, right across the top.
On my
About
laptop, it's all the way to the right of the function keys as well.
But
Yeah,
these
but-
are only on Macs, right? Not PCs.
no, this
These
is
are
a
all on
PC.
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 These
Yeah,
are all on
mine is
PC.
a little right of the middle. On the
It'll
top
only
row.
say PRSCN.
Mine says PRTSC.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's-
And
it's
that
down
might
by
be what
the-
mine say. Oh,
It-
on my
It's
keyboard.
down by the,
Where is it?
down at the bottom, by the space
you just-
key.
You have to figure out where it is. Yeah, mine on my keyboard, which is a nice big keyboard with a number pad, print screen is
Yeah.
spelled out completely.
Yeah, see, it's not on a Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the PRTSC also.
Hey, what if you
I'm
have a
not
Mac?
finding it at all.
Here's what you do, Bev. On a Mac, you go to Google and you type in where is print screen on a Mac, and it'll tell you.
Okay.
I
I'm
don't know
not
that
seeing
you'll
it
get.
on
I
my-
don't know that you'll get that little box at the top, but you can print screen. Okay, we got one more thing to do, but it ties into what we've been doing. Okay, it says if you want to alter small amounts of text in a PDF, use number 3 above to get your text. Place a white rectangle over the part to be changed and place a text box over that. So for example, in this text document, let's pretend that I decide I want this 7 plus I to be 8 plus I. So I go to Insert, Shapes, and I go to the rectangle, and I draw a rectangle over the 7. And I go up here to Shape Fill, and I make it white, because that's my background. And I do the shape outline in white as well. So now you can't see that I have a 7 there. As long as I fix the position and it floats over. So I put it over and fix the position. So now I can move that little box just a little bit so you can not see. I can make it a little wider too. There we go. It's pretty good. So now you can't tell that there's a 7 there. So I'm going to do 2 things. I'm going to click that box, and I'm going to click the larger box, and I'm going to right click and group. So now my white box is part of that group, so they'll move together. Now I'm going to do this. I'm going to go Insert. You would have to, seems like a lot of work, but once you've done it a few times, it makes a lot of sense. And let's say I want to put a 9 there instead of a 7. So I go up here and in my text box, I make a 9. I'm going to guess if this is Comic Sans. You'd have to know when I was teaching school, I only used Comic Sans and Verdana, I think. Comic Sans. Oh, it gotta be, spelled right. Comic. So there's Comic Sans, and then I'm gonna make it a 14. We'll see if that does it. And now I'm gonna right click and remove the border, get rid of the no fill. Oh, I'm gonna leave the fill and no line. Okay, so there's my 9, and I'm gonna make this a lot smaller box because we don't need it. So now I'm gonna drag it down here and I'm gonna put it over that. Now you can see that it's too little. So I'm gonna go up here and I'm gonna change it to 18 and see what happens. There's other ways to do this, but I'm just doing it the fastest way. And you can see that I almost got it the way I want it. I would need to do a little more cleanup, but my box is a little wide. There we go. So I changed it. It's not perfect. I would make the font size a little bigger even yet. But you can see that you can edit little things. Like if there's one word on a document that you've already done and it's misspelled, you can use a white box and cover up, or, cover up whatever and type over the top of it. I would probably do one more thing. I would probably add this 9 to a group so that if I move this box ever, the 9 would go with it. Right now, the 9 is floating over the top. But
You can't just go to a spot and insert or
no, because
delete something?
It's a picture. It's a picture. Now, like I said, my college girls tell me that there are ways, but I've not found them. And I've been doing it this way for so long. I guess
Okay.
I don't change everything, but no, this is not a text box. It's a picture. I took a picture of some worksheet or something, and that's what it is. It's a picture, and you can't edit pictures without whiting things out and putting something over the top. But you can. I mean, you saw me. I covered up that 7. Nobody knows that 7 is there except you all.
A whiteout tool is faster.
Yeah. And I have been known to do that. This little tool up here will let you white out. I use, I'll be honest.
Show us the whiteout tool.
Well, no, I'm sorry. That's the background. That's a contrast one. That's a highlighter.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about, Sharon?
A physical whiteout tool that we used to use.
I don't even own any, Sharon. I do all of it this way. But I'll be honest.
Open your drawer, your desk drawer. You'll find most anything in there.
No, I moved, remember? So
Oh, that's right.
if I use Smart Notebook, which is what I do most of my work in, because it's so easy. Smart Notebook is the software that goes with the smart boards I teach about. And this is why teachers love those. For all of you who haven't had one ever, this is the software, and we'll see if I can get it to open pretty quickly here. I may be overtaxing my computer. There it goes. So if I go here, this is why I love this software. I don't have to do it. My mouse is a mouse. If I click right here and start typing, the typing goes where I put it. Did you notice? There's no text box. I don't have to remove the border or anything. I can move it wherever I want. If I click down here, I can put a 1 and I can start typing something. And then, as Sharon said, I could go here to the pen tools, and I even have a whiteout in my list. This is whiteout, and I go here and it's gone. So if I want to put the answers at the end of every problem, I could white out all the answers, print it off. Kids don't know they're there. And then when I'm ready, all I have to do is, now I just have to use my fist, but where did it go? There, you have to remember where you hid stuff. I can just erase it and show the kids what the answer is. So that's why I love that software. But
so when are you going to do your presentation on the smart tool?
Oh, whenever somebody decides they need it. I don't know that anybody cares, although the teachers that are in session are teaching. All right. Here we are with we've done all 3 or all 4 technically of the choices for PDF, not perfect. And I would love to hear if one of you decides to go investigate one of these apps that are advertised. I would love to hear feedback on one that's cheap and works. But there you go. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back, and this is going to take a little longer because I don't know how disorganized your files are. But we had a request, and this really isn't a word. This is really a computer question, but I think we all can benefit by organization. So this is the handout, but I want you to notice all the point is of this is that you notice things on your screen, and we're going to go open my documents folder and see. But I wanted you to notice, we're going to talk about 3 things. There is an option right in the up. This is the outline right here. This is what the window looked like. And I made it small, and you're going to see it in, so you can read it in a minute. But I just wanted to point these things out. We're going to use the new button that's right here in the upper left corner. We're going to use the search box that's over here on the right side. And we're going to open the folder and go to documents. When we click the new button, this is the list you get. I'll be honest, I never use any of these down here. This is saying in Windows, do you want to create a new Microsoft Word document? Do you want to create a new rich text document? What do you want to do? You want to create a new Microsoft Excel worksheet? I never go here for that. I use this button for one thing, to make a new folder. Okay. Once you've done that, then the question is, you have to decide, and that's what this star thing is here. You have to name files and folders with names, complete names, or acronyms that you use regularly and you can remember. For example, some of you know that I was in a sorority in college, and I have been an advisor to collegiate women in that sorority for years. And right now I work for a chapter. It's called Georgia Beta. We never spell Georgia out. It's always GA space BETA. So I know that in my folders, if I go looking for my folder for that group, that it's going to say Georgia Beta, spelled it GABETA. If you're going to use shortcuts, you have to know what those are. For example, what's another one we might, like today, I made a folder to put the video in for this session, and I named it Troubleshooting Word, because I was afraid that if I didn't use the full name of the session, I either one would get it confused with some other session, or I would shorten it and not remember how I shortened it. And the reason you have to do that is because if you're going to use the search box, and the person who posted this question said, if I make folders and I still can't find it, how do I find it? And that's the purpose of the search box. It's amazing what you can find in the search box. So we'll talk about that once we've looked at the setup. But your first step is to get folders. And if you already have folders, how do you get those files that are just floating out there into those folders to get more organized? So that's what this is about. The second part of this page is this. Once you've got the folders made, you can put folders inside of folders. For example, when I was teaching school, I taught, well, let's take the year that I taught geometry and computer programming. So I had a folder called Geometry 2018. No, that would have been 2010, 2011, and Computer Programming 2010, 2011. That's what it said on the folder, on the folder name. Inside of every folder, I had other folders called Quarter 1, Quarter 2, Quarter 3, Quarter 4. In both of those groups. The nice thing is that once I had those set up as a teacher, then next year, all I did was copy the folders that had last year's stuff in it into new folders, made a copy, and the new copy got a different name. It got geometry 2012, 2013, or whatever the next year was. So now I had last year's folder in case I screwed something up. I could always go back to last year's folder, but now I had this year's folder for the stuff I was doing this year. And I just kept doing that. At one point, they called me in and made me get rid of all my folders for the previous 15 years because I obviously wasn't using those. And I was taking up more space on the school server than anybody else. But I don't like to throw anything away. So hence that story. All right. So once you got your folders made with folders inside of folders, however you want to do it, and you can add folders after the fact. You don't have to get them all done at once. If all of a sudden you go, oh, I need a folder for that, you can do it. The last part of this is how you can save time to get multiple files into those folders all at once. And we will talk about this. Okay. All right. So this is how you do this. I'm just cleaning up my screen so you can see. All right. So I always go to the bottom of my screen and every Windows machine has this folder down there. Now, if you right click and unpin it from the taskbar, then you'll have to go find your file explorer because that's what this is. Notice it has that little blue thing at the bottom. This is the file explorer. If I click here, it opens. Whoops, it's on the other screen that I thought was going to be my monitor. It opens to my documents. And here are all my folders. This is my personal computer. I do keep stuff for my company on here because I don't want to have to drag out the one I haul on my trips. This is where we're living. Bramlett Farms is my son's property. There's Delta Kappa Gamma. Look at all my folders inside of Delta Kappa Gamma. There's my car. Mary Stainer, you're on this call, right?
No, she's already left.
She already left. She had to leave. All right.
She had
Anyway.
to do some practicing of some kind.
Did you submit a program, I hope?
No, not yet. I'm working on it. I haven't decided what. All right. So you can see all my, here's my folder for the Common Pub Committee that I'm serving on right now. And when I old it, there's my troubleshooting Word folder. Here's possible use for sessions, podcast covers. I don't even remember what that is. Bev probably knows what that is. Look at all these files in here that have no folders. So how can I get those in? Well, before I do that, let's talk about how to make a folder. So I'm going to go back out. Now look at the top of up here. You see where at the very top where my cursor is, it says I'm in documents. I'm in a folder called Delta Kappa Gamma, and I have the Common Pub folder open. If I want to go back to documents, I have two options. Oh, three really. I could hit the up arrow twice. The up arrow once would take me back to DKG. Hitting it a second time will take me back to documents. I could use the back arrow. Okay. Or I could just click on documents. And when I click on documents, which is much faster than hitting the up arrow, I'm back to my documents folder. Notice over on the left, I have downloads, I have pictures, and I do have folders in pictures. Just because I got tired of searching through all of them, but look how many pictures I have that aren't in folders. So this folder could use a little cleaning up as well. But so you have to decide. So how do you make a folder? Well, number one, you have to be, the file up here has to be the one where you want the folder to go. So if I want to make a folder in my Delta Kappa Gamma folder, I'm going to click on it. Now notice my path. I'm in Documents, Delta Kappa Gamma. Now I'm going to put a folder in Delta Kappa Gamma. So, because that's my last stopping point. So I click New. There's that big long list. I click Folder. It automatically takes me to that folder and it gives it the name New Folder. I don't want to call it New Folder. I'm going to call it Test. And when I hit return, it puts it in alphabetical order with all the folders. If I want to put a folder inside of that folder, then I double click What's my last folder up here? Test.
Yeah.
So when I click new and folder, it shows up inside of the test folder, and we'll call this 1. And I could make a second one. And because I'm still in test, now it's going to be 2. And you could continue to put folders in here. You could open these. If I'm in folder 2, now anything I make as a new folder is going to be inside of folder 2. So that's how you make folders. Okay. I'm going to go back to documents, and I really didn't mean to do that. I really wanted to go back to Delta Kappa Gamma. So we'll go back here. So I have all these folders. Now I will tell you that at some point I will probably take at least 3 of the car folders and put it as old car folders. So we'll do that. So new,
Folder.
and we will call it car old. Now, why is it automatically putting these in alphabetical order? That's because at the top of this list, you see the word name, and there's a little arrow pointing up, meaning this is the file this is the column that's in order. For those of you who lose things, one thing to use, and I know this because I use this often,
I do too.
it keeps
Uh-huh.
track of date modified. If I go
Right.
over
Oh.
here and I click that little arrow,
Oh,
it puts them in the order of date modified. Now, right
Well, if
now
you
it's
click
going,
on it again, it goes the other way around.
right now it's going from the earliest, which was 09, all the way through 2024 at the bottom. But if I click it a second time, it flips it and puts it's put it in order by folders first. It always does folders first, but you will notice the folders are no longer in order by alphabet. They're now in order by the date they were last opened. And then below that are the single files, and they also are in order, but they're in order from 8 down. So that's how, now how do I know that that's what it's sorted on? Well, you see that little arrow right above my arrow? It's a little tiny arrow. That tells me that's the file that's sorted on. What if I go over here and I do type? Well, now it puts them all in order by type. The first group is file folders. The next one is Adobe Acrobat or PDFs. The next file is GIFs and then JPEGs. Then here we have Microsoft Word, PNG. These are in alphabetical order by type. Here's a Smart Notebook file. Here's some zip files, and they're in order by type. If you were doing size, it doesn't do size for folders, so it doesn't do that, but you'll notice the documents are in order by size. Well, they're not in order by size. I'm not going to click it because it would order them. I don't want to do that. But you can change the order of the folder based on these columns. I'm going to put these back in alphabetical order. And there it is. So it's back in alphabetical order. And I'm going to open that common pub folder. And we're going to talk about how I can get these Word documents into, let's make a folder. Didn't I make some folders? Where did I make those folders? I made them in, did I make them in Delta Kappa Gamma instead? Okay.
Yes.
All right, let's go back here. Thank you. So
Fantastic.
I made a folder called test. There it is. And inside of that, I'm going to open it. There's 1 and 2. Well, we're going to drag these into test first. So there's my test folder. And now I'm going to take, I'll be honest, I don't care where any of this goes because I probably haven't looked at these in forever. But what I want you to notice is the stuff that was on that the rest of this handout. I could drag every one of these. I could grab this 7th anniversary fax and I could drag it right there. You see how it turned blue up there where I have tests? If I go to Taming Tech, it turns blue. The one that's blue is where it's going to go. Now, if I open up test, guess where it is? It's inside of test. So you could take every one of these things that I want to put in that folder and you could drag them one at a time. You're up for that? Go for it. I'm lazy. I would rather do a bunch at a time. So here's how that goes. And I just want to review this on this handout before we go any farther. You have two options for dragging multiple files at once. You can pick and choose. So I'm going to demonstrate that first. You get to pick the ones you want. So I'm going to go back here, and here's how you do that. You take the first file that you want to move. So I'm going to say this Google Docs one. All right, notice how it's highlighted. Now, this is pick and choose. I'm going to hold down the control key, which is always on the bottom left corner of your keyboard. Now, I'm going to keep this down with my left hand while I mouse with my right hand. So it stays down the whole time. So I'm going to click this one. I'm going to go down here and I'm going to click this one. I'm going to go, I'm not doing any, I don't have any rhyme or reason to this. I'm just picking. And what else? Let's do this red star. Let's do this logo. Let's do this. See how I'm picking and choosing? So I've picked and chose what I want. Now I'm moving the window up using the bar on the side so that I can see my test folder. And this is the part people have trouble with. You click your mouse on one of those files. Do not let the mouse up. I click down and I hold it down and I drag all of those. Notice how the folder turned blue, and it says move to test. And there's a little number, I don't know if you can read it, but there are 6 items in this group.
Mhm.
And but my mouse has got to be on that blue test folder. And the minute I drop it, now I let up. Once I have my mouse over that folder, I let up with my mouse. Those files are in there. And there they all are. Now, if I wanted to move them into one of these other folders, I could hold down click my first one. Now, what if I want to put all of these in the first folder? So this is called first, last, and everything in between. So I click the first one. I hold down the shift key. Whoops, sorry. Click the first one. Hold down the shift key right above control. Hold it down the whole time. Click red star. Notice how it did first, last, and it collected everything in between. Now I can let my shift key up. I drag one of them into the one folder and they're all in there.
Jean?
What? Go.
In those 6, if you had done the first one and the third one with the shift key, it would take taken 1, 2, 3.
Yes. So
Mhm.
it's first, I'm going to, I wonder if I can control. Yes. Okay. What I just did was Control Z. Do you all know what Control Z is?
No.
Control Z is undo.
Oh, Z as in zebra?
Yep. Z is in zebra. Control Z. I undid that. So it took them back out of one and put them back where they were. So, because I undid it. All right. So Sharon's question was, what if I only want, my first one is 75th and my last one is Google Docs Adobe. So I click the first one, shift key, click the third one, and now those
Okay.
are the only 3. You could also do it from the end. If I click logo letter is my first, shift, red star is my last, move it up there, they're in there. So the shift key is first, last, and everything in between. And if there's only one in between, then that's what you get. The secret is when you click first, hold the shift key last. When you grab, don't ever let your mouse up until you've drug them where you want them to go. Now, I don't have any folders in here, so I can't drag them anywhere, but that's the secret. All right, so we're going to go back to DKG and we're going to go down here and we're going to practice again. So I'm going to click my first one, which is knit or crochet a dish scrubby. That must have come from car. I don't know. I think
That
we
would
did
have been
those.
a car during the pandemic.
We made those at car back when we taught knitting, back at the place up in DeKalb, up that way.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I click that one. Now I'm doing the pick and choose. So I picked that one. Now I'm gonna hold down Control, and now I'm gonna choose chapter list, whatever that is. I'm sure it's chapter list. And we're gonna take this ILSO participation and my car info, because that's old. So I've picked the ones I want. I can now let the Control key up. If you decide you want to click some more, don't touch your mouse until you click the Control key. Now you can click some more. But watch what happens if I lift my Control key and I click somewhere and I don't have my Control key down. What happened? Turned them all off. So you have to click the first one, hold the Control, click the others, and then let your Control key up when you're done. Now you can drag them. And here's the hard part. People have trouble with this. I'm holding my mouse clicker down right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could pick any one of those blue ones, drag it. Do not let it up until you see that folder highlighted. It says in that little box that there are 6 of these. When I let go, they're in there. There they are. Now I want to put some in the to folder. So we're going to do this one, Control this one, and this one. And I drag them in. They're in there. There they are. Oh, Joan Ruggs picture. Now we're gonna do a first, last, and in between. So I'm gonna click first, hold Shift, last, and now they're all in there. Okay. Now there's somebody out there going, well, what do I do if I have a brand new file that I want to save somewhere? Well, if it's a brand new file like this right here, you go to File, Save As, and it actually went to the folder where I saved it earlier today. So I'm going to go out of that, and we're going to go here to DKG, and you have to know where the folder is, and you have to know what you named it. So we know that it's in the DKG and it's called test. So I click there. So now I'm saying DKG test folder and save. So now when I go,
choose 1 or 2.
I didn't do that. Notice, here's the folder that I didn't put it in 1 or 2. I put it it's only in the test folder, not in 1 or 2. Now, could I drag it into 1 or 2? Yes.
Sure.
But if I don't want to, I can leave it here, or I can create a folder called 3 or whatever I want to do. Hey, there's one more thing you need to know. Oh, 2 more things. Okay, so let's say that I have a file somewhere. Let me find one. Oh, this picture right here. Let's say that this picture on my desktop, I don't want it on my desktop anymore, and I want to put it somewhere. I could do this. I could go to desktop, and I think it's called My Pond. There it is. Okay, so that's number 1. Okay, now I'm going to go down to this folder, and I'm going to go right click, and I'm going to click on File Explorer again. So now I have 2 File Explorer windows, and I'm going to make this one Documents. So this one is Documents. I'm going to open Delta Kappa Gamma, and I'm going to open the test folder. Okay, so there's my test folder that I'm putting things in, and here's my desktop where the picture is of my pond. And you have a couple of options. One is to make them small enough that you can get them side by side. So I'm going to drag this over. So you can make them side by side like this. There is a secret way to get them to be side by side. If you grab the top of the one on the left and drag it all the way over till your mouse hits the edge and let it go, it becomes half a page. And then I need to open this one and it makes it the other half. But they aren't big enough, so I got to pull down here. There we go. I just pulled it at the bottom and made it bigger. Now I can grab this and drag it over here. So that's a way to get it between two folders when they're not close to each other. Open one, open the other, drag between. That same thing that I did earlier. I don't want to drag anything I don't want to move. Sorry.
Can you
Okay,
also copy it that way? So
I
you've got it
could.
in both places?
I could right click, and up here, these are the new icons that they're using. This one is copy. Hold your mouse over it long enough and it'll tell you that it's copy. I could copy it, and then I could go over here and click, and I could either right click and paste. Yeah, paste is at the bottom right here. This is paste. Or I could do Control V and it would be there. You could also use that whole thing that I was doing earlier. You can, let's click on, let me find something that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. So I'm going to click on my, I clicked on my first. I'm going to click on virtual, and I'm going to click on this new, I do know what that is. And we'll just take the, oh, here's cover 21, 22. That's done. All right, so I've got 4 things. I grab them, I drag them over here. They're there. Now, if you're moving between folders on the computer, when you take it out of this folder to put it over here, it's gone.
Yes.
Which would be a reason, if you want it in both places, to not drag it. You would instead copy it, come over here, paste it. And
And
now
then you
it's
have
in,
it both places.
yeah, I already, it was one that I copied earlier, so I'll just say paste it. But you see that it's now in both places. If you're
You
copying
do that
something,
when you put something on the USBs.
if you do it on a USB, the USB, it won't, a USB is external to the computer. So when you drag stuff onto a USB, it will leave it where it is and put it where you want it to be.
Oh,
It's just like copy and paste, because the USB drive is external to the computer. It's only when you're moving within the computer that it takes it out of one and puts it in another. Okay, now, one more thing. We want that folder that we have. Okay, so let's pretend that you know that you have something in here called 1. We're looking for that folder that we know we called 1, but we can't remember that it's in the test folder. We know it is, but we can't remember. So I'm in the DKG folder, so it's only going to search DKG folder. And I'm looking for somewhere in the DKG folder for something called 1. It brings up everything in the DKG folder that has ONE in it. There's the something that was created on November 14th, 2016. I have no idea what that is, but anyway, it's in there. And here's a 1-page recipe book. Here is the folder 1.
That's what we want.
And that's what we want. So now I can open it and go from there. And if I want to search, if this had so much stuff in it, I wanted to find something, I could go there. So if you're not sure what folder you put it in, you would go all the way back to DKG, and you would go up here and you would type 1, and you would get an even longer list. I have to hit enter, or maybe not. It's struggling. We're doing a lot here. My computer is, I think, struggling because it's got so much to search. We'll try it one more time, but I think it's not going to find it for me because I've given it. I'm making it search all of this in DKG for that 1 word, and it's finding so much.
Yeah,
So
because
yeah,
so many
and
words have ONE.
I'm also doing a video while we're doing this. So remember, so the computer is struggling, but that is possible to do that. Okay. So that's the way to find stuff, but that's why it's so important that you use some word in the title that you remember.